Welcome to the Cardiff Critical Care Psychology Online Learning Library.
Hello, and welcome to the ICU Library of Resources. The following slides will focus on what is mindfulness and how using our breath and staying in the present moment can really help us when we're dealing with hectic lives that we lead. Your life has 3 stages: the past, the present, and the future. But it's interesting because when we're faced with anxiety, what tends to happen, we get either sucked into the past to go over and over stuff we've done wrong or has gone wrong for us, or it sucks us into the future. But of course, we have no idea what the future holds. The future hasn't happened yet. So as you can see, anxiety will either pull us into the past or the future. So where is the present in all of this? What is happening to us now? And it's in the now that we need to ground ourselves and to use our breath, which is an amazing resource. Remember, the past has gone forever. The future hasn't happened yet. So why even worry about it? So what is mindfulness? It's an ancient Eastern practice which is very relevant to our current lives. The modern version was created by Jon Kabat-Zinn and has been practicing this for well over 40 years, bringing it up to date from its origins thousands of years ago. And it's important to say that it's not based on any religious doctrine. It is simply a way to notice our thoughts, physical sensations, sounds, smells, anything that we might not normally notice. This actual skill might be simple, but because it is so different to how our minds normally behave, it takes a lot of practice. We might go out into the garden and look around and we might think, oh, that grass needs cutting. That vegetable patch looks incredibly overgrown. A child, on the other hand, will call over excitedly, say, hey, come and have a look at that ant. It's about being playful in the present moment. Mindfulness can simply be noticing what we don't normally notice because our heads are too busy in the future or in the past, thinking about what we need to do, going over what we have done. How often do our minds go into automatic pilot? For instance, sometimes we can be in a car and drive for miles on automatic pilot, not really being aware of what we're doing. We're more likely to have our buttons pressed. Events around us and thoughts and feelings and sensations, of which we may only be dimly aware, can trigger old habits of thinking that are often unhelpful and may lead to worsening mood. By becoming more aware of thoughts, feelings and body sensations from moment to moment, we give ourselves the possibility of greater freedom and choice. We don't have to go into the same old mental ruts that may have caused problems in the past. A mindful walk can bring new pleasures. Walking is something that most of us do at some time during the day. We can practice even if only for a couple of minutes at a time. Rather than be in our heads, we can look around and notice what we can hear, what we can see, what we can sense. Also notice the sensations in our body just through the act of walking. Notice our breathing. Thoughts will continually intrude, but just notice them and then bring the attention back to the walking. The more we practice, we'll notice those thoughts just being intrusive, and that's okay. The aim of being mindful is to bring our attention back to the activity, continually noticing sensations from outside and within us. Jon Kabat-Zinn, the author of Modern Day Mindfulness, gives a really good example of mindfulness and how to visualize it. Think of your mind as the surface of a lake or an ocean. There are always waves on the water, sometimes big, sometimes small, sometimes almost imperceptible, just like a ripple. The water's waves are churned up by the winds, which come and go and vary in direction and intensity. And this is similar to the winds of stress and changes in our lives, which stir up waves in our mind. It is possible to find shelter from much of the wind that agitates the mind. Whatever we might do to prevent them, the wind of life and of the mind will blow. I like this. He says, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. So we can all learn to surf on the waves of life. So let's go to mindful breathing. And remember, it's all in the breath. Do you remember as a child using the dandelion top and you used to blow it? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It was a game we used to play as children, but we used to use our breath. So let's get ready to actually do some mindfulness. The main focus in mindfulness, as we've said before, is use of the breath. The primary goal is to create a calm, non-judgmental awareness, allowing thoughts and feelings to come and go without getting caught up in them. This is tricky because our mind will take us off to all sorts of places. However, if we come back to the breath through practice, this will create calmness and acceptance. I want you to sit comfortably with your eyes closed and your spine reasonably upright. Drop your shoulders. Direct your attention to your breathing. When thoughts, emotions, physical feelings or external sounds occur, simply accept them, giving them the space to come and go without judging or getting involved with them. When you notice your attention drifting off, which it will do, simply notice this and then gently bring your attention back to your breathing. Yes, just breathe. It's as simple and as complex as that. Okay, let's continue. Having assumed a comfortable position, either lying on your back or sitting upright, let your shoulders relax. Your eyes can be either closed or there be a light gaze to a spot on the floor if you're in a sitting position. Bring your attention to your belly. Breathing in, feel it rise or expand gently on the in-breath and fall or recede on the out-breath. Keep your focus on the breathing, being with each breath for all its full duration and with each out-breath for its full duration, as if you are riding the waves of your own breathing. Every time you notice that your mind has wandered off, notice what it was that took you away, and then gently bring your attention back to your belly and the feeling of the breath coming in and out. If your mind wanders away from the breath 1,000 times, then your job is simply to bring it back to the breath every time, no matter what it becomes preoccupied with, because it will. Practice this exercise for about 10 minutes daily. Just notice whether you feel like it or not for 1 week and see how it can be incorporated into meditation practice. Be aware of how it feels to spend some time each day just being with your breath without having to do anything. This is just another breathing meditation. Tune into your breathing at different times during the day, feeling the belly go through 1 or 2 rises. Now you can do this anytime, especially if you're feeling anxious. Just notice where the breath is. Be aware of your thoughts and feelings at those moments, just observing them without judging them or yourself. So breathing in and gently pushing out. And become aware of any changes in the way that you are seeing things and feelings about yourself. As we become more practiced at using mindfulness for breathing, body sensations and routine daily activities, so we can then learn to be mindful of our thoughts and feelings, to become observers of them, more accepting of them. This will result in less distressing feelings and increases our ability to enjoy life. With mindfulness, even the most disturbing sensations, feelings, thoughts and experiences can be viewed from a different perspective, as if they're just passing events in the mind rather than us being attached to them being not necessarily true. When we are more practiced in using mindfulness, we can use it at times of intense distress by becoming mindful of the actual experience as an observer, using mindful breathing and focusing our attention on the breathing, listening to the distressing thoughts mindfully, recognizing them as merely thoughts, breathing with them, allowing them to happen without believing them or arguing with them. If thoughts are too strong or loud, then we can move our attention to our breath, the body, or to sounds around us. And remember what Jon Kabat-Zinn said: you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Remember to breathe.